So we're going to stop by Frostfound again, which will give us another crate of supplies and another barrel of fuel, which should be enough to get us to Mount Palmerston. Turn off the light. Would you like to actually make it to Mount Palmerston? Or would you like to run out of fuel and just be adrift in the middle of friggin' nowhere? This time he wants a Z story. Share tales of the outside with the almost dead man. Ah, Captain, he rasps, humor an old man, tell me of your journeys. The almost dead man is not easy to impress. Though the Aurelian goggles at your tail, his mentor only gives a grizzled nod. Not bad, he allows. Saw a thing or two myself in my youth. The desert of eyes, the listening desert, the desert of delights, Nita, on the mountainside, with her domes of basalt and porphyry. I've gained one undercrow dying grace. How does an almost dead man face his end? One intriguing snippet, 3 memories of distant shores, and lost a Z story. So sometimes he'll want prisoner's honey, sometimes he'll want Z stories, and sometimes he'll want mushroom wine. There may be other things, but we don't know yet. I don't want to increase sharpness right now because that usually raises terror. And we are at terror 37, which isn't horrible, but it's high enough that I kind of want to be careful. Alright, that was the last crate of supplies. We're definitely going to have to buy at least a couple crates at Mount Palmerston, even though it's a bit expensive. And roll into Mount Palmerston with what's in our meter and then one more barrel of fuel left. I guess we're going to have to light on now. We're going to resupply but keep away from the stream, thanks. Well, that got us one crate. I think I'll buy one more to get us back to London. That should be enough. We're going to go to Avid Horizon, Chapel of Lights, Codex Wither, Venderbite, and all that before we head back to London. So we'll need those supplies and fuel to do it. What is that? Oh, yeah. Faustian Corsair, I think. That looks like a ship that's designed for ramming. Yeah, no, not dealing with that. Not with our current ship and gun. Let's get a hunter's eye while we're here. We'll have to use most of our fragments to do it, but I feel like that might come in handy. Why do they always decide to eat, like, right before we make it to the Chapel of Lights? It almost never seems to line up. You'd think we'd occasionally at least have some where they were like halfway up the meter or something. Even if it wasn't perfectly timed. Scattered bones. Bones lay scattered and gnawed on the Z-bed. Rib cages yawn open, breastbones shattered. Fragments of skull litter the sand like pearls. Okay. We can take a closer look at the bones, which is a 78% chance of success. We can scavenge the bones, which is a 76% chance, or we can gather up the bones, which is only a 58% chance. Let's try taking a closer look at them. Many of the bones are blackened with cannon fire, others are scarred as though by swords or machetes. Scraps of tendon still cling, severed or cut to broken fibula. A row of skulls bear round bullet holes between the eye sockets. Only 6 fragments, though. I kind of vaguely remember not getting very much for succeeding that the other time either, so we're just gonna try scavenging them in the future. Doesn't seem like examining them gets us much. Hoping we'll run into some bats near Venderblight. That would give us the supplies to get to London safely. We're not going to be coy about it this time. They can damage our hull a bit. We just want to take them out quickly. Oh, we can one-shot them. That works. There. That gives us the supplies to make it back to London. Without having to resort to questionable things. Yeah, resets our hunger and lowers our terror a bit. 60 echoes is still kind of expensive for that, which is why I don't do that very often. But we are working on 1 crate of supplies. And our terror was getting a bit high as well. That's reined it back in to where we should be able to get rid of a good chunk of it in London. A collector of stories. His hair is impeccably oiled, his teeth are white and flawless, his smile is searing, and he blasts you with it as you approach. Hello, I've enjoyed your tales. You've a gift for turning the truth into lies. In fact, I think perhaps you can help me. I have a professional need for exclusive stories, ones that have never been told before and won't be told again. If you'd be prepared to provide me some, I will compensate you with unusual payments. Let's see what the map and knowledge gets us. You tell a naughty tale. Satisfied as a fed cat, the collector hands over a roll of yellowing paper. You study it beneath a lantern of reclaimed stained glass. The chart is thick with notes, names, addresses, passphrases, strings of numbers and symbols. Judging by the numbering in one corner, it is only one of several such charts. A detail in the compass rose catches your eye, an ornate initial B. And what's in the margin? A motto? Liberty, equality, eternity. 1 revelatory chart, 1 strategic information, 1 moves in the great game, 2 intriguing snippets, and 2 memories of distant stores in exchange for the low Barnett storyteller quality being reset to 0. So now we can trade stories with the congregation again, we can speak of Anth. So yeah, we should keep trading those. Get a lot if you get 7 of them, and eventually we'll need to actually participate in another contest of stories, so that's a thing too. Let's see what this is. Crab carcass. A rigid claw rises from the Z-bed. A colossal crab lies half buried in the sand. It's only recently dead, succulent flesh nestled in the brittle shell. Going to harvest the meat for supplies. Grabbed meats. You lead a small complement of your crew out into the gloom. You work swiftly, shattering the claw and twisting the white meat from underneath. Your crew attack the shell with vigor and hammers, while your bosun marks the time in 7s. You return to your submarine laden down with crab meat. The broken shell is left to the Z. A leather-bound journal. Its pages are sealed with wax. Another revelatory chart. You cut the journal open, unfolding a complex navigational chart. It shows abysses and reefs, and these marks, are they cities? Regret, remembrance, refuge, delight, flowers, freedom, and peace. Now, I know you can give revelatory charts to the Admiral, but I think he just gives you money. So I think I'm gonna hold on to them, because it's pretty rare to get them, and the fact that we got 2 in the space of 5 minutes is odd. Have the cargo. The revenue men always show up after he does. He's just real quick on the jump. Makes this a lot easier. Yes, we'll go again. This time we're going to polythyreme. It's a good thing I bothered to read it, because every other one up to this point has been Khan's heart. Polythyreme works. Honestly, polythyreme works just a little better because it's slightly further south, so we might be able to work it into actually exploring a bit. We're gonna go ahead and just repair our hull. Yes, we're only missing 10 points, but let's face it, we get so many favors from the Admiralty. I think we can afford it. Okay, we have a new officer available. The brisk campaigner. Boy, you need a real physician, none of your surgeons. Okay, yep, sure, we can bring you on. Don't you have anywhere cleaner? Well, if I must do it myself, where can I find a mop? She's marched with armies and cured generals. Don't annoy her. Hearts +6, iron +3, and obviously having a doctor aboard is useful in some situations. Versus hearts +6, iron +6. So yeah, no, the Clattery Air is just all around better. Avid Horizon, of course. We'll head there eventually. We'll pass on strategic information just to see what he gives us. I mean, it's worth a fair bit. But we're gonna still hold on to the rest of it. I'm kind of curious how much he gives us for the revelatory heart. We'll give him one of them. Just a lot of money. So we're gonna keep the other one. Oh yeah, we have Stygian Ivory for the Venturer. We'd better give that to him. That'll free up some room. Yeah, 500 echoes for 7 of these. We paid about 30 per... Yeah, we made a profit. All these lessons, contours of history. There will be scholars and marvelers, but enough of that. I have another task for you. Alright. So now he doesn't want the parabola in it anymore, so we can just sell that. He wants different things now. Ah, of course he wants sapphires now. We should have kept those 5 casks. So 1,000 echoes. We would still turn a profit if we bought them from Port Carnelian. So that's doable. We can do that. Or 1 colossal fluke core. I know how to get those. I know we can't do it. We would need a bigger ship and a better gun. Which are things that I want to get. We'll see what... Probably the sapphires. Probably the sapphires. But, okay. So now that we've done that, we come over here. Let's see. We're going to keep the cask of mushroom running the firkin of prisoner's honey because there are uses for that sometimes. We're going to sell the parabola linen. He doesn't want it. So, there we go. That opens up some more room. Let's see. If we wanted to buy a new deck gun, because if you look on our ship, it does not have a forward or an aft slot. It has bridge, engines, auxiliary, and deck. Honestly, wouldn't mind getting a better lamp, because that's basically a free mirrors bonus. Now, as you can see, like, they come with Veil's penalties. The Judgment Resonator, which does not limit your ability to hide. I don't think the Speculative Constanator does either, but it's clipping off that there it goes. Just not worth it yet. It's one of those things where it's like when you have money to burn. And no, we're not going to buy a new engine here. We're going to try to hold out for the friggin' Serpentine. If we absolutely need a stronger engine, because this is what we currently have, which is 800 power. We absolutely need a stronger engine. We'll go with that one because it's probably the best value for money. The next ones after that get very expensive for not that much more power. Commissar's Avid Suppressor devours engine emissions, ensuring that your engine never explodes at full power. Also slightly improves your chances of evading enemy attention. Okay, I could see that being useful under the right circumstances, but we don't even have an aft slot. Okay, this one does not say that it requires any torpedo components. So, hull damage 18 versus what do we currently have? Probably this thing. Hull damage and life damage 8. So more than double. And that's before our iron bonus is factored in. I don't know if the iron bonus is a flat bonus or if it's a percentage bonus. If it's a percentage bonus, then this would be freaking amazing. But we don't have a forward slot, and even this would be a pretty significant upgrade. And this is the forward weapon that doesn't require torpedo components. And I don't like worrying about torpedo components. I really don't. So we're going to stick with the weapons that don't require torpedoes. I want this thing. We're going to have it. We're going to sell our old gun because you can't equip 2. There's no point in having 2. Not that we get much for it, but gimme. There, that'll make our life just a little bit better. The extra hull would be nice, but the hold isn't any bigger. And the main reason we want a new ship is to have a bigger hold. Again, this is part of the reason that I gave it a bigger hold than the Gloriana when I modded the ships, but I've left it as just vanilla for this Let's Play, so I don't think we're gonna go with that. I have used the Merchant Cruiser before. The Veil's penalty isn't that bad. It's a small enough penalty that you can still be a smuggler with it. And it does have an aft slot, which could be very helpful. However, it is also incredibly heavy, so it's slow. Even if we upgraded our engine, unless we upgraded it to the really big engine that would guzzle fuel like you wouldn't believe. Hell, even if we had the Serpentine, because if you come over and look at the Serpentine, shops, because you can actually see the Serpentine stats without making it, for the very simple reason that you're allowed to sell it here. And it has, you know, it has a decent amount of power. It has more power than the one that the game keeps enjoying making me say, even though I can't. I got it to show up once, and now it's just wanting to run off the screen. Great. Okay, let's look at the next one. Yeah, its power is more than that one, but less than that one. It is not the most powerful engine in the game. The thing about it is that it's also giving you fuel efficiency and hearts and veils. But if you ask it to move the absolute heaviest ship, you're still gonna be kind of slow. Like, if you want to make the frickin' Caligo move anywhere quickly, you basically need to attach that hell engine to it and bring a lot of fuel. Like, you think those 20 barrels of fuel that we sometimes carry around is a lot? No, it's not. Not if you have that engine. So you have to factor all that in. Yeah, I've always found this, like, of all the ships, without modifying their stats, I mostly just consider this one to be, like, I know there's, like, a couple of ships that you can get specifically by doing quests, and those might be better. I'm not as familiar with them, and I don't know how to get them. So of the ships that I know how to get, without modifying their stats, usually the Sketchalog I find to be kind of overkill, and it's just as heavy as the Caligo, and the Veil's penalty is really high enough to be a serious problem, and it requires a lot more crew. It's like, yeah, it has more hull, but 450 hull versus 600 hull. If you have 450 hull, that should be enough to see you through anything, really, unless you decide to fight several colossal flukes or something in a row. I've just never really needed more than that when I've played. Maybe there are situations where you do, I just never have. Now the hold capacity difference, like, yeah, having 100 hold versus 70 is nice, but it's not worth the extra weight. It's not worth needing the bigger crew, because that just means you have to carry more fuel, more supplies. That extra 30 hold space, most of it's going to get taken up with the fuel and supplies that you need to run the ship, as compared to the amount you need for the Menad. And then the Veil's penalty is only 5 on this, which is much more manageable. Now, that being said, you know, the bonuses to, like, the Mirror's bonus is the same either way. You do get a much bigger iron bonus with this one, but I kind of just prefer the more even keel nature of this one, because I like to have Veils and iron. I'd rather not choose between the two. And anyway, the point of all that is to say we don't have enough money for it yet. Even if we use the 1,000 that we were given to go get the cargo that's in polythyrene, which would be a very bad idea. We don't have enough money for it yet. We're getting there, but we don't have it yet. But we at least got a better gun. So that should help. We might be able to take down some slightly bigger things. We're still going to be limited by the fact that we only have 75 hull.